the G7, the EU and Australia have imposed a cap on Russian oil. The cap is $60 per barrel. It has come into effect and Russia has said that it will not sell oil below the market price. Meanwhile, OPEC and other oil producers, including Russia, have not changed their production plans. They will continue to reduce oil output over time. So what does this mean for oil prices? Our next report brings you all the details.
Western powers have initiated their next step to fight Russia, imposing a price cap on Russian oil. The cap prohibits the countries from buying Russian oil at more than $60 per barrel, while other nations can still buy oil at the market prices. There's a catch. The cap also prohibits the shipping, insurance and reinsurance of Russian crude, unless it's sold at prices below the price cap. Ukraine's allies think the cap will limit Russia's income, drain its war chest and lead to the end of the war in Ukraine. This is what U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said recently. With Russia's economy already contracting and its budget increasingly stretched thin, the price cap will immediately cut into President Vladimir Putin's most important source of revenue. The West also says global oil prices will decrease, and the move will benefit poorer countries affected by rampant inflation. However, Russia remains defiant. It says it will not abide by the price cap and not sell to the countries who have imposed it. It may even cut oil production to ensure market prices don't fall because of low demand and high supply. Remember, the West hopes that by limiting the price of oil, the overall market price of oil will fall too, that it will effectively become a buyer's market. But will it really be that simple? Or can the plan be foiled, especially by OPEC? Let's take a brief glimpse at world history. Up till October 1973, oil cost just $3 a barrel. Adjusted for inflation to 2018 rates, that is still just $17 a barrel. Hard to believe, right? But that's what it used to cost, and that wasn't just because of market forces. The price of oil remained low because it was a buyer's market, and Western nations wanted it to stay that way. Remember, Iran's former Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh was ousted in a coup in 1951, a coup supported by the US and the UK because he wanted to nationalize the Anglo-Persian Oil Company. The West helped the Shah of Iran gain power, so they could have cheap oil. And they kept oil prices down in the Gulf states too, providing weapons and security for oil. The basis of the relationship between the US and Saudi Arabia. But in 1973, things changed. The US angered Saudi Arabia by helping Israel in their war against Egypt and Syria. The ruler of Saudi Arabia back then, King Faisal, hiked oil prices to $12 a barrel in response, and the impact was massive. It was the first ever global oil shock. The US faced recession. Oil prices have stayed high ever since, and oil-producing nations have profited immensely. You can see why they won't be keen to go back to the old system, with buyers deciding the price, and the West siphoning off wealth from oil producers. Relations between the Saudis and the US are already at a low. US President Joe Biden's fist bump diplomacy has not worked. Neither did diplomatic immunity to Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. OPEC, Russia and other oil producers are known as OPEC+. They cut oil production in October. They had planned to continue cutting oil production by 2 million barrels per day from November until the end of 2023. On Sunday, OPEC+ agreed to stick to their strategy. This means the oil cap may not work. As oil supply falls, prices may rise. What happens if the price of Saudi oil goes up exponentially? The West will have to pay. Russia could still make money selling to other buyers, and the West would be losing billions buying more expensive oil. It's a gamble. Both the West and Russia will likely suffer, but no one can be sure who will win. Meanwhile, in a bid to stop oil from becoming a buyer's market again, Saudi Arabia and other OPEC Plus nations, which control oil output, seem to have stacked the deck and trumped the West.
WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.